Good morning and welcome to May 7th. This is Thursday, May 7th. Welcome back. And I just want to start off our lesson by saying how much I miss you. And I wish we were in the classroom together. But since we can't be, I'm glad that you can at least see me no matter how long it is. Penny McAdams says that he loves that he still gets to see me on the videos. That's what he had said. I don't know if anybody else agrees with that, and you can get on our office hours and let me know. I miss you all. All right, so let's go ahead and get started for the day. And if you remember from our video yesterday, I told you that we would be talking about quadrilaterals today. And if you remember from our lesson yesterday, quadrilaterals are what? Great job. They are four-sided polygons. So it doesn't matter whatever it is. If it's a quadrilateral, it's a four-sided polygon. Remember, because if we're saying a quadrilateral, then we know it has all the attributes of a polygon, and quad means four. So it's a four-sided polygon. So we have two pictures right here. So we have our hotel quadrilateral, and then we have a Venn diagram. And I want to use these to talk about quadrilaterals because this is one of the hardest things. So when we're talking about square, rectangle, rhombus, trapezoid, parallelogram, those are all quadrilaterals, but they don't have the same name because they have different attributes. So let's go down here on our first floor and you'll see that all four-sided polygons are welcome. That means that they're all quadrilaterals. So anything that is inside of this circle right here, we're saying is a quadrilateral, and that just means that they're all four-sided figures. Doesn't matter if they have a name. If it is a four-sided polygon, it is a quadrilateral. Because remember, we have some of those weird shapes too that don't have a name. For example, this one, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. So it is a quadrilateral, but it doesn't fit into any of these specific ones like a trapezoid or parallelogram or square, rhombus, or rectangle. So any four-sided polygon is a quadrilateral, which is where we are on the first floor. All right, so then you'll see our second one is a trapezoid. Now, why is a trapezoid? If all of these, let's see, to get to the second floor, that would mean to get on the elevator and get to the second floor, the quadrilateral has to have be a four-sided polygon, right? Because it has to be a quadrilateral to be in the quadrilateral hotel. And it has to have two pairs of parallel lines. What keeps a trapezoid out of that? Great. A trapezoid only has one pair of parallel lines. Therefore, it can't go on. That's why it's in its separate one. So we have a quadrilateral, any four-sided polygon. Then we have a trapezoid because the trapezoid is different than all of these on the inside because a trapezoid only has one pair of parallel lines. So let's go to the third floor of the hotel quadrilateral. So as we go up, it gets more specific, right? Because you always know, like the penthouses and the top floors of the hotels, they're always like the best, right? So, well, not the best, but they're always special. Not anybody can just get into them. So when we go to the third floor, we'll see that it has to be a quadrilateral, it has to be a four-sided polygon, quadrilateral. Has to have two pairs of parallel lines, just like before. But in here, it has to have all right angles. Okay, look over here to help us now. Remember, a trapezoid and parallelogram are different because a parallelogram, for example, this only has opposite sides parallel. That is what a parallelogram is. It has two pairs of parallel lines, so opposite sides parallel. And trapezoid only has one pair. So a parallelogram. Well, then to go on up, because if we look at these inside the parallelogram, we'll see two more circles. We see a rhombus, a rectangle, and then we have a square, but it's in the middle of that Venn diagram, right? So that means that rhombus, squares, and rectangles are all parallelograms too. But you'll see that a parallelogram doesn't have to have all right angles. A rectangle and a square, remember, do. So that is why we have these two inside, because a rectangle is a parallelogram because it has opposite sides parallel, two sides or two pairs of parallel sides. And a rhombus is a parallelogram because it has two pairs of parallel sides. But see, the difference is, and we look here to get to the very top. The only one that it can be, it has to be a quadrilateral, two pairs of parallel lines, all right angles, so four right angles, and all congruent sides. Why can a rhombus not fit here then? Great job, because a rhombus doesn't have to have all sides congruent. Now, we can call a square a rhombus, but we cannot call a rhombus a square. Because remember, if we look here, a rhombus does not have to have right angles. A rhombus just has all four sides congruent. So that's the breakdown of our Venn diagram. So let's go on and answer some questions for the day. So I have two sets of parallel sides. Okay, so right now we should already know what is out. If it has two sets of parallel sides. Good, a trapezoid, it can't be that. My sides are the same length. All right, so what are the only quadrilaterals that we know that have two sets of parallel sides and sides the same length? Great, it can either be a rhombus or a square. But it says it has no right angles. So what is the only one of those that doesn't have to have, because a square has to have? Great. My shape is a rhombus. Now, we don't have to capitalize rhombus because it's not like a, All right, now let's look at this. Select all the terms that are true about a rectangle. Is a rectangle a polygon? Yes. So we know that this is true. A rectangle is a quadrilateral. Is that true? Remember, what is a quadrilateral? It only has to be a four-sided figure. Is a rectangle a four-sided figure? Yes, so that is true. Is a rectangle irregular? What does it mean for it to be irregular? If you go back and remember our lesson from yesterday, regular means that the shape has all sides congruent and all angles congruent. Does a rectangle have all sides congruent? No. So this would be false. All right. A pentagon. How many sides does a pentagon have? Very good. It has 5 sides. Can a rectangle be a pentagon then? No, that is false. What about a parallelogram? Can a rectangle be a parallelogram? What do you know about a parallelogram? It has 2 sets, opposite sides that are parallel and congruent. Is that a rectangle? Yes. So a rectangle is a parallelogram. Does a rectangle have to have right angles? Yes, so that is true. Is it regular? Remember, if it's regular, it has all sides congruent and all angles congruent. Now, a rectangle has all 4 angles congruent, but are all the sides congruent? No, so that would be false. Now, we just said a rectangle has what kind of angles? Right. Ha! You're right. It has right angles. Can a trapezoid be a rectangle? No, because a rectangle has how many pairs of parallel lines? And a trapezoid has only 1. So that's false. Can a rectangle be a square? Let's go back to that one. Okay? And we said that a rectangle has acute angles. No, it has right angles. Good, those square angles. And a triangle has how many sides? 3. So can a rectangle be a triangle? False. All right, now let's look at a square. If we're looking, can a rectangle be a square? Well, what do you know about a square? Remember, think about the hotel. The square is at the very top. It's the only one allowed up there because it's the only one different because it has all congruent sides. It has to have all right angles. It has to have 2 pairs of parallel sides. But the most important is this all right angles and all congruent sides. Does a rectangle have all congruent sides? No, so that answer would be false. A rectangle is not a square. All right, you're doing great. Now, what I want you, take a minute and look at this one and solve it. I wasn't actually going to give you a minute. This one's really easy. Pause me if you don't have your answer yet. It says that the front of the house is a parallelogram. Well, if I look, this house has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. What do you know? What's a 5-sided polygon called? A pentagon. And a parallelogram has how many sides? 4. So A is out. Look at B. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. But it says parallelogram, but what do we know about a parallelogram? Parallelogram has how many pairs of parallel lines? 2. Let's look at this one. I see 1. Those are parallel, these lines. But this line, if it were to continue straight like this, and if we were to draw another one, we can see that these lines would cross. They are not parallel. So a parallelogram has two pairs. That can't be it. Look at C, same. It only has one pair of parallel lines. So that one can't be our choice. So our answer has to be D. Same thing, boys and girls. I'm going to go ahead and write the answer. I want you to go on to this one and go ahead and fill out your answer. Okay, if you haven't had a time to look through it, you can pause me. It says, which pair of polygons are parallelograms? Is a circle a polygon? No, so right away I can see that A and C are out. Now it says a parallelogram. That's two pairs of parallel lines. Does B work? There's one and there's two. That one has two pairs. There's one pair and there's two pairs. So that one has two pairs. So let's look at D. There's one pair and there's two pairs. But if I look here, there's only one pair of parallel lines. So can that be a parallelogram? No. So the answer is B. Okay. Doing great. Says, how many of the signs shown below are squares? Is this a square? No. Oh, look, boys and girls. No. Okay. All right. So we know that this is not one. Oh, boys and girls, it's just taken. All right. Is this one? No. Is this a square? Does it have all congruent sides? No. Look at this one. Is it a four-sided polygon? Yes, it's a quadrilateral. Does it have all congruent sides like a square does? Yes. Does it have four right angles like a square does? Yes. Is it a square? Yes. So that is one. Is this a square? Are those all the same sides, same side lengths? No. What about this one? No. And would this be a square? It looks pretty close. Isn't that okay? No, because all the sides are not congruent. Your answer is B. All right, only a couple more, boys and girls. You're doing a great job. Let's continue. All right, pause me so you can have a minute to look at it. All right, now we want to know which shapes can be combined to form this one shape right here is the one that they want us to form. So what we're really looking at is if I were to combine these two, let's say that I could put, oh, okay. So they have one of these. Two of those. And then it looks to be a square. So let's go ahead and get our square. Okay. So they're saying, like, could I make this shape using these three? That's what A is. So let's imagine, and you have to imagine, let's see, I got to make this a little smaller. And then could I flip this? Would that make my shape? Yes. Now think about if I only had these two, would there be any way to make this shape using just these two? No, because it's kind of like we're missing one now. I just made a trapezoid, but is that what they were looking for? The specific trapezoid? No. So B is out. And C, if I had two squares and one of the triangles, could I make it? Would there be any way to put these together so that I could make this shape? No, I'm not being, I can't figure it out. If you can, boys and girls, but I'd be really shocked. And this one won't make it either, so our answer choice is A. All right, if you need just a minute, pause me. Okay, says quadrilateral, all the sides were the same length. All right, is a pentagon a quadrilateral? No. Is a rhombus a quadrilateral? Yes. Does a rhombus have all sides that are the same length? Yes, so that could be a possibility, right? Trapezoid. Is a trapezoid a quadrilateral? Yes. Does it have all the sides the same length? No, so it can't be trapezoid. And a triangle, is a triangle a quadrilateral? No, so our answer is B. All right, now we want to know which of these shapes are quadrilaterals. Is J a quadrilateral? No, so that automatically rules out C and D. Is K a quadrilateral? Yes. What about L? Yes. Remember, quadrilateral. Any four-sided polygon is M. Yes, so that's 3, because KLM is in a quadrilateral. Does it have four sides? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So can it be a quadrilateral? No. So N is out. What about O? Yes. So our answer is B. Last one, boys and girls. You're doing a great job. Which is a quadrilateral with exactly one pair? Easy peasy. I can already hear you all yelling at me. It's trapezoid. Very good, boys and girls. So you do have a Google form as your independent classwork for the day. It will be on Google Classroom, and I can't wait to see you all this afternoon. Bye, boys and girls. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I miss you so much. Bye.